Hey guys, we are looking at an absolute value inequality here today, okay? Now, when you are solving problems like these, there's 4 types of answers you can get. You can get an and inequality, an or inequality, no solution, or all real numbers, okay? Obviously, I'm just doing one problem here, so you'll see one of them. If you want to see a video where I do an example of each one in one video, I will link that in the corner for you, okay? But let's go ahead and do this one. My first thing I want to do when I am solving this is I want to get the absolute value bars all by themselves, okay? Meaning I don't want this plus 6 here, and I don't want that 3 there. That 3 there. They just kind of complicate things. So I just want to get rid of them. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I end up with 3 times the absolute value of 2x plus 5. Guys, I always draw my absolute value bars like really big, so I don't think they're ones. So that doesn't look like 312x plus 51, right? So I always draw mine really big. The 6 is gone, so we are less than 45, okay? All right, from here, I want to get rid of that 3, so I'm going to divide it off, okay? If that had been a negative, I would need to flip this sign, but it's not. So we just keep it how it is. Okay, so then I've got the absolute value of 2x plus 5 is less than 45 divided by 3 is 15. Okay, my absolute value bars are alone, and I'm very happy about that. The next thing we do on problems like these is we split this into 2 different inequalities, okay? So I'm going to switch colors. We are going to split this into 2. If you're like, why on earth is she doing that? I'll link a video where I explain why we do this, okay? So the first one I'm going to do, I just dropped the absolute value bars, okay? So I'm going to have 2x plus 5 is less than 15, okay? For the other one, I'm still going to have that 2x plus 5, but then I'm going to flip the sign and make this a negative, okay? So those are my 2 inequalities now. Okay, the other thing I need to know, remember I said there were 4 possible answers. Well, the no solutions and all real numbers have to do with if this 15 up here were negative, okay? It's not negative, so we don't have to worry about those 2. We just need to know if it's an and inequality or an or inequality, okay? So to know that, one way to tell is to look at this sign here, okay? When my absolute value is on the left and we have less than, it is going to be an and inequality, okay? And one way to help you remember that is to think less than can kind of sound like less than, right? Pretty clever. I didn't come up with it. We could pretend I did though. Okay, so again, if you're wondering why is that, watch that video I linked earlier where I kind of show you and explain why that makes it an and inequality, okay? All right, but now my goal is just to get my x's alone, okay? So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides over here, and I end up with 2x is less than 10, and then I'm going to divide off that 2 and get x is less than 5, okay? That is one of my answers, but we also have this one. So again, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. I'm going to have 2x is greater than negative 20. Divide by 2 on both sides. And I end up with x is greater than negative 10. And remember, this is an and inequality. Okay, so those are my 2 answers. You can always pick a number and plug it in and make sure it works. Another thing I like to do when I'm solving these is inequalities and number lines, they go very well together. They're like peanut butter and jelly. So we're going to look at this really fast on a number line. So we would have 5 here and negative 10 about here, right? So x is less than 5, okay? Meaning it can't be 5, so I use an open circle. And then I know it's going to be going in this direction, right? Then so x is less than 5 and x is greater than negative 10. So it can't be negative 10, so I use an open circle, and greater than, okay? Meaning any number between these 2 numbers will work. You can plug it in for x and you will get an inequality statement that is true, okay? The reason the and matters is because negative 100 is less than 5, right? But it wouldn't work in here because it's not greater than negative 10. Does that make sense? So it needs to fall between both of these, fulfill both of these requirements, okay? All right. If you want it in interval notation, it will look like this. Negative 10. We can pick any number from negative 10 to 5, right? We use brackets if it can be that number, parentheses if it can't. So we're going to use parentheses, okay? So these two are the same answer. I know this looks like an ordered pair, but it's interval notation, okay? These are the same answer. They just look a little different. So depending on what answer, what form your teacher wants the answer in, or maybe they want both, you know, that's cool. Those are the two different versions, okay? I should also say you could also write this and equality just as one with one x like this if you wanted to, okay? That's another option for how to write it, okay? All right, I hope this made sense. If you need some more examples, I will link a full playlist for you. Thanks.